Hello teacher, welcome to my activity 2, course the English level 2. Back in time. Activity 2, topics, past simple, verb to be past, regular and irregular verbs, past continuous, used to, before and after, intensifier. Member, Armando José Pineda Paredes, 191697. Teacher, Manuel Hernando Molina López. Activity 2, back in time. Writer, Armando Pineda Paredes. Type of text, paranormal history of the family. The Golden Child. It all started with a clear morning in a small field in the Abrego municipality. One morning where the girl Anna was getting up with her sister Marta. The day began very normal, to come on to time that night will be a real torment that will remain for the memory of their life. 6 a.m. marked the clock, the time when these young women woke up to begin their daily childhood routine. A routine where they got up and went to school without having eaten any nutrition food. 12 a.m. time where those girls were fought for their dreams finished their school hour, where they danced when tutor humble about a half-finished house, a house where resorts were scarce. After not having eaten and fought for breakfast, they had to get home and not know if there was food for their much dessert lunch. 2 p.m. time where those girls, after having eaten, dedicated themselves to doing their homework. That place where they did their homework was a very sinister place. It was a place where those girls never want to be, being disdained that they began to change. 3 p.m. those girls were locked so called doing her homework run away, and ran to her mother where she was waiting for the scared and very anguished to know that she had passed her on to her adorable daughter. But what happened to her daughter? Her daughter with answered him. She ran scared near the room. He run. For 4 p.m. after that anguished moment that those girls lived, but that still no we can know what happened. Marta, her other daughter, arrived and told her demand of what happened in the place where two poor little creatures were. Mommy, in the place where stand did happen. Her mother. Her mother was already very concerned about what was happening with her two daughter. But what happened to Anna's daughter? Marta, shuddering and almost shaking, told him, Mommy, a voice has been following us, and today when we were just doing our homework, she appeared out wearing and started saying very strange things. The poor mother of those girls, even without knowing what to do, decided to ignore that singular is coming from two girls who were some fanciful, sometimes normal for their age. 6 p.m. time where this real terror begging for those two poor girls, their mother continuing with the routine, used to sing theme to their usual, but this time she decided to sing to only for the most important of the night, which until of those later ones it was of the most whirlwind journey of their life. They began their journey by leaving their home to the destination, another field where they had on the errand and they collect money. Those girls will scattered, remembering what they happening of the time at the hour 8. They arrived at the destination thinking that everything at one hill willed. They running home a little happier down the same road where they drugs at the safe of team. 6:40 p.m. They began to rain for the heat playing on the road, and basing age time more. 6:48 p.m. They arrived at the place which seemed different for the wind a few minutes had passed. At that place, a place that everything told, where some plan seemed to dare. A place that was to develop the found a group of gold which we can define and make things use later. There is a few meters and a rails in the background. In one of those animals, which they found charney. He becomes a small blonde child, too blonde of the pure normal child, reaching the point of dark hair chin. He had quite an elegant dress and aura, the mouth hip reflect light, a light result say of the sun. Thus Gil surprised by the writing of the characters of the boy in the middle of now the seat to ask Gitter, "Are you okay, boy? Why do you change so much?" So Gil surprised by that ways of life that the character inherited, become curious and decide to get closer to that boy was continue to inherit inexplicable rates of life. One of the great Anna decided to ask that only young man, "Why are you here?" Everything seemed strange. The girl saw the boy was still immobile and despite the question, "There is that boy. Say, you mean did you finish?" Everything was still the kid, and those later years were already getting scared. A few seconds had passed after having escaped. That's the question. Why not entity decide to answer that the question with already set in stone, similar to that of demon entity. "I am coming for you." The voice of the young man was surprising that those girls run away without taking about any else. They only ran to save themselves and went away from the shield where Lockett lay walking on the road. The being with an evil launched the side and followed with those guild of the west was so scary that they said that she could only run a few meters when she felt the ground pass out. Her sister Martha, her only downs of writing, her weekend tearing about at the maze that she was doing to her be dragged in here. She only carried to keep her sister away from that demonic shield, what only made her loud at the same time that she went on. Luckily for the seas girls, a pestilent fraud that are fondant, find some time green tint girls with blood for drying her sister. Some girls surprised by such a macabre scent they had witnessed that man without knowing that he had spaced the site to carry those girls to the house without saying a word on the way. 8 a.m. the next day, those girls were made together with a crowd of people who were surprised and perplexed when hearing the story of the girls. Next to him was now father of the place, who interrupted those girls and the city speak, but pushing thus the girls aside as not scared anymore, not noticing that the girls were fiend all a long time later, saying this story will repeat itself. It was surprised by what I used here. I then can know that entity did not exist, but I will tell you the truth. That evil entity called Iftel the Golden Shield, an entity that is commonly present to children. That entity is a trap. The lion till that those people want that golden shield is present. When the shield begins to cry, we had to create a released object, which is blessing be an official priest of the on the church. When chosen and blessed object, the entity disappears, leaving a body of gold. Evils and other rage. Legends all says that whoever resides this rage will obtain a court of property. That story of the priest perplexed the crowd of people. Those girls dixing that every time what had happened continues their life will heal of the right mother of the current event. We can now but soon that boy will return. What will those girls have done? Did an entity have thrown some time at him? We will. We can know in the next chapter of the Golden Shield.